There's a glorious glug when you first pour a dram from a bottle of old Pulteney. And I think it's something to do with the still-shaped neck on the bottle. The trouble is, it's such a good whiskey that you keep pouring it and then you don't get that noise anymore. And that's the situation I'm in. So, old Pulteney 12-year-old from just across the Pentland Firth, from where I live on Orkney, in Caithness on the east coast of Scotland. Wonderful, wonderful nose on this. It is all about American oak. So yes, if you're a friend of mine from videos ago, you'll know that that's all about apples and pears and custardy notes and kind of that whole creme caramel tart tatin type thing going on in the bottle. But with old Pulteney, it's got itself the reputation of being the Maritime Malt, and it is on an incredibly windswept coast. And so there is a real hint of saltiness, the tang of the sea in this whiskey. And it's there on the nose. And I have to tell you that I know from experience, it's there on the palate as well. So, Old Pulteney, 12-year-old, they're kind of, well, it's not so much their entry level because they do some non-age statements, which I think they actually do incredibly well. But it's the first of their age statement bearing whiskies. So it's a most attractive nose, really is. I can't emphasise enough the importance of the east wind here and what that gives the characteristic of the whisky being matured in the warehouses on the east coast. Up here in Orkney, the birders get really excited when we've had an east wind because that's what brings in the interesting birds for them to all look out for. So I can really see why it's important to this whisky as well. So glorious nose makes you just sort of want to dive into that caramelised appley egg custard pan of pastry delight, but we're talking whisky. And that all delivers in the mouth. Buttery, creamy, custardy, caramel, real caramel, dancing across the tongue now with some lovely hints of spice as well. But overall, there is this saltiness, and I know we're all really kind of indoctrinated into salted caramel these days. But if ever there was a whiskey that delivered that as a flavour, it's got to be old Pulteney. And in the 12-year-old, it's really starting to come of age. So lots of excitement there on the first sip. Obviously, the second sip, your mouth's used to the whiskey, so you tend to get the homogenised taste of the whiskey rather than individual flavours and sensations. Oh boy, that is so accessible. If I said it was inoffensive, that would be so wrong, but I can't see really why anybody could say, oh, I don't like that. Because it's got a sweetness, it's not overpoweringly sweet. It's got that saltiness which really makes it special. And it's got some wonderful, wonderful toasted caramel flavours. And I just think it's great. Now, I know, because let's face it, it wasn't a full bottle, I absolutely know that I prefer this without water. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't add a couple of drops so that I can tell you what happens. The nose is more homogenised. I think it knocks back the tang of the sea, and that's really what Old Pulteney is all about. Certainly in the mouth it makes it more creamy, but again for me it just loses that thing that is its very Old Pulteney-ishness. which is a new word that I've just made up. It's a glorious dram. And today, as I'm recording this, is actually Burns night. So I'm just sort of getting in the mood. You'll understand my dedication to my art and craft in doing so. But this is really a chance to tell you that if you happen to be in Orkney, and some of my regular viewers are, that our very own Brig Larder is starting to have a whisky of the month. And they're trying to keep it around the £30 mark, so giving the online ordering a bit of a run for its money. And in January, or until while stocks last, it is the old Pulteney 12. And I'm hoping very much that at the start of each month, I'll be able to give you a little report as to what the Brig and Joel, its very fantastic manager, has come up with for us whisky lovers in the coming month. So, Old Pulteney 12, what a great way to start a year of whiskies. And here in Scotland, it is the year of stories. So I bet there's a good few stories that could be told that have come out over a dram of the Old Pulteney 12. I'm not going to tell you very much about my stories of it. It could be way too embarrassing. Better just finish this. Cheers, and see you next time.